Today I want to expand a little bit on a video that I previously did discussing the effects that the people around us have on us. Only this time I want to take it into the realm of relationships. Because as I said before, we are directly affected by the people around us. And so they are always a really good mirror for who we actually are because it's unlikely that we are going to spend our time with people that have certain behaviors if we don't have matching or corresponding behaviors. So, in terms of relationships, I want to talk about the fact that our relationships, particularly our closest, most intimate relationships, are mirrors for us. And they are not only mirrors of the behaviors that we've maybe taken on or that we have disseminated amongst our friend group, but they're also actually a perfect mirror for the things inside of us that we've either rejected during the process of socialization. So that's when perhaps you're growing up as a child, one of your behaviors or the way that you think is rejected, so you're punished for that. Maybe you were a loud child, and so in order to survive in your environment, you push down that aspect of you. You basically you reject it within yourself, and you push it into the unconscious aspect of your being, and so you then become a quiet person, but more than likely you will see loud people in your world. And so that will, you may find yourself, if you are a quiet person, you may find yourself married to a very loud, gregarious person. And that is, in essence, because the role that relationships play in our lives is to help us grow and to help us learn to accept and integrate the parts of ourselves that we've rejected. So therefore, if you've rejected being loud and gregarious in yourself as a child and have grown up to become an adult that's quiet and more reserved, then you may basically come to heal that within yourself by loving someone whose personality has those aspects. Unfortunately, what often happens though is that we see those, and because we've rejected them in ourselves, they spark maybe anger in us when we see them in other people to a degree, or we may have these behaviors and we don't see them. So our relationships, our closest relationships, actually mirror quite a number of aspects of ourselves, and so in order to have a good relationship, having a healthy dose of self-awareness is really important. Anyone with a really successful long-term relationship has these qualities because you almost can't live with someone else who has come from a completely different background and upbringing and an entirely different set of belief systems that may be in line with yours, but may also conflict. So that requires self-awareness. And so understanding the ways that people mirror us and the things that they mirror can be really helpful. The 7 Essene mirrors of relationship. The Essenes were people that lived back in I believe it was the Egyptian times, and around the time of Christ. Their writings were found along with the lost Gospel of Thomas, I believe. And so they were a sect of people who were highly emotionally intelligent. They lived their lives basically on the principles that the people around you reflect who you are. They reflect the parts of you that you don't see. And sometimes we reject these parts because they're not always flattering. Or at least we don't find them flattering because we've rejected them, because we were raised to believe that they were wrong. Like going back to if you were a loud child and you grew up in a household where children were to be seen and not heard, then you would struggle to be I guess, loud and gregarious as the person that you are, without something to sort of block your inhibitions, I guess. And so you may also, though, find that you're irritated by gregarious people, or when you have wine or something, you may find you become one of these gregarious people. And so that's another topic altogether. What I actually want to do is just briefly summarize these 7 mirrors, because once we understand what the people in our lives are showing us, because it's always a matching or corresponding aspect of ourselves that they show us, we actually can make our way through aspects of our relationships, be they conflict or whatnot, that it will make it easier. Sorry, I'm watching my cat. She's being very distracting. She's threatening to knock something breakable onto the floor. So these 7 mirrors, and I wrote them down because I always forget at least one of them. So the first mirror is who you are in the moment. And so I will go over these throughout the week and expand on each one. So I'm just going to summarize them today. The second mirror is that which we judge or reject in ourselves. I sort of touched on that, but I'll expand more. The third is something that we've lost, given away, or had taken from us in our lifetime. The fourth allows us to see ourselves in addiction or compulsion. And that does not always mean substances or vices. This can be patterns of behavior as well. So the fifth one mirrors our parents or our relationship with the Creator, whatever that would be for you. The sixth one is dark night of the soul. And so that is the shadow aspect of yourself, and the challenge and some of the greatest challenges that you go through internally. And the seventh mirror asks us to see, it's chaos here, I'm actually baking something. The seventh one asks us to see all the experiences in our life as perfect. And so it's asking us to really look at the tools that we have and the destinations we want to get, and sort of be able to determine where we are in that realm. This is a great video. I promise the next of the week when I expand on each one will be, in theory, better. So I better go get that before it's burning. If you're burning something,